Coming out of turns 3 and 4. Chad White on the bottom. William Duff on the top. Checkered flag in the air. Who's going to win? It's William Duff. No, look out. He just junked it. Look out. Oh, my God. World's #1 streaming service. Hutchinson Motorsports TV. On the call tonight. On your feet. Off your seats. It's about to go green.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to some Dover action here in the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Jesse Becker here, glad to have you with me here tonight for the Monster Mile 200. It's sure to be a great time, absolutely, as these drivers are starting to hit the track for qualifying as we look at the beautiful sights of Dover Motor Speedway. I gotta tell you folks, it's nice whenever you make videos like this and you come to a track that just recently got updated and they've got nice scenery and actual pretty stuff to look at. Blake in the chat saying he's never raced here, P30 incoming. We'll see. He might be safe from P30 because I don't know if we have that many people signed in. Of course, Connor's in the chat as always. Thank you, Connor, for tuning in. And Christian Taylor in the chat says Blake's going to junk it. There's a very good chance of that happening. I can't lie. You might be onto something. We'll have to wait and see if Blake does indeed junk it. But as we head to the track here, we're watching TJ Crampton head around. His first lap puts him on top of the board. Is the second lap going to be quicker is the question. No, second lap's a little bit slower. We'll see if that's the case for everybody. Logan Festitian moves into second. You see Scott Rickard here currently in third. Well, knocked down to fifth now. Joshua Altus second on the board. Kyle Bowling third. Scott Rickard crosses the stripe. And his second lap gets him second on the board. Good lap from Scott. It appears the second lap can be quicker. Josh Gratton, Hillsboro, Missouri native, crosses the stripe. What's his time going to be? He goes from 9th to 9th. No, up to 6th. From 9th to 6th, Will Bustler makes it to third on the board. Larry Griffin in that 77. Red Bull machine, Cornelius, North Carolina. He is on his second lap. Connor says, you never know what could happen here at Dover. Blake saying he's going to try out the last lap move he saw last night. Christian says he hopes I'm not mean about it. Well, I'll try not to be mean. I'll try my best not to be mean. 5 of Trey Jackson, he's crossing the stripe, setting his second lap. What's it going to be for the 5? Just a little shift up the board up to 10th, nothing crazy. Zach Kreitz is on the pole spot. He kind of just popped up out of nowhere. Ben Shepard in his Boise, Idaho number 69 car. Going to cross the stripe, finish his lap. First lap put him bottom of the board. Is he going to jump up? He does, up to 13th. Puts old Doug Pierce at the bottom of the board. And Tom Ogle in his Sunny D machine out of Wooster, Ohio. No time for the 11. I don't know if he managed to hit the wall twice or what he did. Logan Festitian ended up with a meatball in his qualifying effort. And we've got some heavy hitters still hitting the track. Kyle McCoy breaking out the Outer Wilds scheme this week. He's just now starting his qualifying effort. We'll see if McCoy's got the speed tonight. He's generally pretty fast. So we'll see if that's the case for Kyle McCoy. Figure while we're waiting for these folks to finish their qualifying effort, we'd get a points update on the season. Got to go look it up manually. But right now, Scott Rickard continues to be top of the board with 291 points and 2 wins. Kyle Bowling's second. Kyle McCoy is third in your points. Chad White fourth. Brian Pachimi fifth. Ross Tatum, Thomas Ogle, Logan Festich, and Trey Jackson, Gavin Salyer round out your top 10. And there was some news last week. Bryce Barfield took home the win, but during post-race, some of you may remember the disqualification thing that popped up during that race. That was apparently the real deal. Bryce Barfield ended up with a penalty from that race. He kept the win, but everything else, points-wise, was not counted for the driver of the 37. But ladies and gentlemen, qualifying's over. We're starting to grid up here. These drivers are going to slowly make their way to the starting grid. And then it'll be time for the famous, or the most famous words in motorsports. So make sure you stay tuned for those. All right, well, I think we've got enough of drivers on the starting grid now. So we're going to let special guest Buddha Baker go ahead and give the most famous words in motorsports. Buddha, it's up to you, buddy.
Drivers, start your engines.
Thank you, Buddha Baker. With that, I am pumped up and ready for this race here tonight, ready to get into tonight's starting lineup in the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Let's do it. It is that time. Row number 1 on the pole position. It's going to be the number 9 machine of Zach Kreitz with quick time tonight. To his outside is going to be the 03 of TJ Crampton. Row number 2 has the 05 of Scott Rickard starting next to the 2 of Griffin Salyer. Row number 3 has the 18 of Gavin Salyer starting next to the 1 of Will Bustler. Row number 4 is going to be the 94 Joshua Altus starting next to the 7 Kyle McCoy. Row number 5's got the 44 Kyle Bowling. He's going to be to the inside of the 8 Nesquik machine of Josh Gratton. Row 6, the 25 of Nate Lynch and the 5 of Trey Jackson. Row number 7 is going to be the 34 Logan Festich and the 69 of Ben Shepard. Row number 8 is going to have the 77 of Larry Griffin III and the 35 of the GOAT Blake Hutchinson. Row 9 has the 36 Chad White and the 93 of JT Tinker. Row number 10, the 39 of Doug Pierce starts next to the 3 of Ryan Lynch. Got to go hustle mode. Ross Tatum and Tom Ogle, row 11. Row 12, going to be Brian Lynch, Jason Gratton. Row 13, Brian Pashimi and Marshall Harris. If I didn't say any driver's name, that means they're absolutely junk if they're going to be behind Marshall Harris. Pace car is off. Zach Kreitz, for the first time tonight, going to lead them to green here at Dover for the Monster Mile 200. Green flag is out. We'll see how these drivers fare tonight. Dover can be a bit of a tricky track. We'll have to wait and see if everybody can keep it clean. That camera angle is terrible. TJ Crampton takes over the lead from Zach Kreitz. He must have got a good start on the outside. We'll see if everybody can keep a handle on their machine. Stars and Stripes is known for some good, clean racing. But as I just said, this track can be tricky. TJ Crampton, though, at Rancho Cucamonga, California, has the lead, but not for long. Zach Kreitz going to send it on the inside, the 03 of Crampton going to decide not to fight that battle just yet. Kreitz leads lap number 2. While we take a look at some of the chaos going on in the back, you got 2 teammates fighting each other here. That's Blake Hutchison and Chad White dueling a little bit here down the backstretch. 2 HMS TV rides there. Larry Griffin III looking to pounce perhaps on that. Blake Hutchison got a lot of fans. He's on the move so far tonight. He's up 1 spot. He is absolutely flying right now. We'll see if he can keep the momentum going. Caution is out. Yellow flag flies, and we've got junk. Oh, we got a parking lot. Tom Ogle involved, Ryan Lynch, JT Tinker, Brian Pashimi. JT Tinker with a meatball flag, as well as the 3 of Ryan Lynch. You can see the 3 definitely has some trouble there. I say let's ride on board from the nose view of the 3 of Ryan Lynch. See if we can tell what happens here. Bring out the caution on lap 5. It happened in front of him. He's trying to slow up, right into it. I mean, he couldn't see through the smoke necessarily. That could have been part of his problem. It looked like it happened up there with JT Tinker. Let's go up to the Bubba Myers Custom Designs blimp and check it out. Yeah, JT and Tom Ogle battling it out. Oh, the 11 of Ogle just hits the apron a little bit. Goes right up into the 93. And JT looked like he wasn't going to have much damage until he gets absolutely thwacked by the 3 car. He looked like he was going to get away scot-free, but that 93 is toast. You see JT there and Ryan Lynch on pit lane. And we've got the early caution on lap 6. Zach Kreitz continues to lead. And we're going to go ahead and take our first break, and we'll be back with you. Don't go anywhere. We're going HMS TV side by side.
I'm Larry McReynolds. Remember, in any type of racing, it's all about execution. So right now, subscribe to Hutchison Motorsports TV today. You know America's crew chief. I would never steer you wrong.
Hutchison Motorsports TV is back. The lights are bright, and the stands are packed.
Real quick, you both stop the real quick cut. Double check the steering wheel. Roll.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Nice and smooth. Get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Back live with you here. Quick break is over. We're 1 to green. Pace car getting ready to go off this time, and it's familiar faces at the front of the field. Zach Kreitz and TJ Crampton make up row number 1. Griffin Sire, Scott Rickard, row 2. Nothing has changed in your top 6. Very, very, very unusual. No position changes, but regardless, Zach Kreitz going to lead the way into the Juicy Spider restart zone here, and we're going to see the green flag for the second time tonight, and the 9 gets a great jump. He gets out to a heck of a lead across the stripe, and we'll see if they keep it clean behind him. As we watch from on board that 9 machine, looking a little sketchy behind him, but it looks like most everybody making it through. Listening in the chat, it appears that there is some fussing going on from some of the drivers, that there was some 3 wide action before the start, or before the backstretch, which, if you did not know, here in the Stars and Stripes Racing League, that is a big no-no. It's been referred to over the last couple of races coming towards late restarts like we had last week, just to remind drivers, like, by the way, you can't go 3 wide before the start finish, and it appears that somebody did not listen. Good battle here between Blake Hutchinson and Nate Lynch. Blake's kind of ripping the high line here. Let's hop on board with Hutchinson. You can hear him getting in and out of the throttle, being careful out of the corners because these cars seem like they can be a little slippery. Granddaddy Longlegs in the chat saying, come on Blake, top 10. I think you're delusional, but he is almost there. He's in 14th. He's got some slow traffic in front of him too. He's catching the 5 of Trey Jackson fairly easily, so Blake might be able to do something. Absolute side-by-side duel here between Doug Pierce and Larry Griffin the third, and they're catching the 25 of Nate Lynch like he's sitting still. Had to have a checkup there not to run into the back of him. That's going to let Brian Pashimi start attacking the 77 of Larry Griffin now, and he's going to get that spot. Brian Pashimi was just involved in that last caution, and he still found himself 6 spots up from where he qualified. Biggest mover, though, someone I haven't mentioned at all, Logan Festchishin up 9 spots. He's up into the 4th spot here. Where did he come from? He's absolutely flown forward here, lap 14 at 200. Logan is on the move. Got a battle in front of him here, TJ Crampton, Scott Rickard. I believe those two are teammates. Can't be 100% positive, but TJ Crampton definitely just let Scott get by there scot-free, no pun intended. And now Logan Festchishin is to the back bumper of the 03. We take a look from the blimp view here, thanks to Bubba Myers Custom Designs. Jumping on board with us. If you need a sick paint scheme, just reach out to Bubba Myers Custom Designs on Discord, or if you have trouble finding him at all, you can just head to our Discord. Link is in the description. We can get you hooked up for sure, no problem. Oh, and there's contact between the 1 of Will Bustler and the 34, Logan Festchishin. Bustler got underneath the 34, got a little tight, pushed up into him. Connor says he's in the pits looking at the 3 car right now, trying to get some damage fixed on that puppy. Hopefully he can get it back out there, but right now it ain't moving very much. Going to be several laps down. Zach Kreitz, though, continues to lead the way, lap 18. Nice little battle for the 6th spot here between Josh Altus, Griffin Salyer. I have such a habit of clicking TV too, but the view is definitely terrible looking through the catch fence. I don't know what the idea was behind that. But Altus takes that spot from the 2 of Griffin Salyer, who got up into the wall a little bit, didn't wreck it or nothing, but it's definitely scraped some of the paint off the side of that number 2 car. But of course, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. 20 laps into this race, only a 10th of the way through, so we've got plenty more action for you here tonight. I will say everybody's getting kind of spread out, but look at this for the lead. Scott Rickard dives to the inside, takes the lead over. I believe he is our 3rd unique lap leader here tonight. Zach Kreitz has led 18. TJ Crampton did lead 2 earlier, and Scott Rickard finally leads 1. We take a look at the hard charger right now. It's a tie between Logan Festitian and Brian Pashimi. Chad White is also on that board, tied with Ross Tatum and Jason Grattan for your hard charger. And 5-lap average, your fastest car on the track. No surprise, he's taken the lead over Scott Rickard. Although Kyle McCoy, sneakily from back in 13th, is running very similar pace. So I have to keep an eye on Kyle McCoy, see if he can make his way back forward. As you mentioned, he's back in 13th. He's actually down 5 spots from where he started. He started back up in the 9th spot, but he's dropped back here early. So we'll see if he can get that back up under control. He seems quick right now, so I think he's got good odds. And we'll just have to watch and see. On board with TJ Crampton, looking back at the one of Will Bustler. JT being a bit of a pit reporter, being that he's out of this race already. He says, it's Dover, not surprised. This track's fun to drive, but on iRacing, it's usually a dumb caution that takes you out. And yeah, that exactly seemed to be the case for you. Although it was just, it was one of those things where it was just such a fine line. Oh, and we got Tom Ogle scared me there. Lap down traffic. I thought we had some sort of accident in front of the field, but no, he's just being courteous, getting out of the way. Which, of course, he was the one that accidentally got into JT after he clipped the apron there. Which, it happens to the best of us. You're trying to wrap the bottom of that corner, and sometimes you just get a little too low, and all of a sudden, wham! You're junking somebody, and that's exactly what happened to Tom. Lots of little close battles all throughout the field. Logan Festitian here has slipped out of his top 5 spot. Josh Altus in the 94 has moved up. But now Logan Festitian has to hold off the Salyer brothers. They're both behind him here in 7th and 8th. It's Griffin in the 2, Gavin in the 18. Speaking of Griffin Salyer, he looks to the outside. He's going to get that pass done, it looks like. No issues. Gavin Salyer going to try to follow him through. Not able to do it just yet, but he's going to try here in turns 3 and 4. Almost looks like he gave a bit of the bumper to the 34, saying, hey man, I'm a little bit quicker. Can you just get out of my way? Speaking of quick, Ben Shepard, he's up 3 spots from where he started. He just passed the 8 of Josh Grattan. And right in front of him, the 36 car, Chad White, is making his way forward as well. I think now is a good time as any as we look on with Chad White to see if we can get a connection to the drone cam. Let's see, folks. Drunken Spider is going to be on the controls if we can get the drone to work here. Unfortunately, it looks like we might not have a connection. There it is. Took a little bit to get the connection, but we've got it now. The 36 of Chad White. HMS TV machine, looking glossy, looking clean. We'll see what he can do here tonight. He's cracked his way into the top 10. Looking to get by teammate Logan Festitian there. And Chad's definitely on his way forward. He's been fast this season. That's why he's sitting 4th in your point standings. But everybody was interested to see what would happen tonight with the update, because they did just recently overhaul the O'Reilly cars here on iRacing. It doesn't seem to have thrown anybody off to any sort of extreme here tonight. The fast guys that are usually quick are doing just fine, except I'd say potentially for Kyle McCoy. He's sitting back in 11th, which isn't terrible, but he's usually a lot higher up. A lot of people in the chat talking about Blake Hutchinson. He's back here trying to just keep digging. He's down 4 spots Started in that 16th spot. He's back here in 20th. But it is only lap 33. There's plenty of racing left. 200 laps on top, or on tap, I should say, in the Monster Mile 200. Speaking of spots, Kyle McCoy gets another one, cracks the top 10, gets by Logan Fashishyn, who's just absolutely losing, hemorrhaging spots here. Oh, and look who is back out on the track, folks. We thought that he might have been absolutely junk, but he's made it back out. It's the 3 of Ryan Lynch. JT, you said he had a blown engine. You said he was done. Look at him. He's out here racing Brian Pashimi. That cookout car has been through hell already, but it's back out here logging laps. So, much respect. As William Duff in the chat said it best, 34 is free falling. You're absolutely correct. He is dropping spots. He was all the way up there in 4th. Now he's back here in the 12th spot currently. Of course, William Duff, you usually see him on track. But, of course, I believe you said in the Discord something about the update is whooping his ass. And so apparently he's not here. And JT Tinker says he did. I saw it smoking. WTF. I saw it smoking as well. So I'm your witness there. I did see the 3 car was definitely having some issues, some serious issues, but apparently they had enough JB Well to get that puppy back out there and back on the track. So that's what Ryan Lynch is doing. Of course, he is down like 20 something laps, so. Twenty folks tuned in so far here tonight. I hope everybody's having a great night. As always, thanks for choosing to tune in to the world's #1 streaming service here, Hutchison Motorsports TV. For those who haven't been paying attention, who have been living under a rock per se, HMS TV just announced the first inaugural season for the HMS TV Racing League. We've got a Cup Series starting up at the beginning of May. Entries are still available, and we've got a unique twist. You know, most leagues, this one included here, Stars and Stripes, you basically just sign up, you pay a one-time driver fee, and that's it. You know, you're paying for your number and your car, and you're just coming to race every night. But what we're doing different for HMS TV is we're using our a certain charter system. So basically, all you're paying a charter fee for a car number, and then you're paying a driver fee to be able to get on the track. So what it allows is anybody from a single car team with one driver all the way till you could have somebody that owns, you know, 8 cars out there, doesn't even drive them at all, just the team owner. And you know, you're sending out 8 different drivers every week depending on who you want in the car. So it's complete, you know, autonomy on however you want to run your team. So I think it's a pretty cool idea, and I'm excited to see how it goes forward. Logan Fashishyn may be driving a Ford, but right now all he's thinking about in his head is the song Like a Rock, because that's how he is dropping down this leaderboard. Finds himself back battling for the 14th spot with Brian Pashimi, who's going to eventually make that pass, I'm sure. He probably felt extremely fast for those several laps that he was up there battling for fourth, and then it's just been a problem ever since. He just burnt his tires up quicker than I've seen really anybody do it. So good for Logan, I guess. We're watching the Kyle Bowling here in the 8th spot, that 44 machine. Second in your points, and he's been Mr. Consistency all season. That's what he specializes in. I mean, how many people do you know can be 8 races in and only have 10 incidents on iRacing? Before last week, he was averaging less incidents than he was races, which is insane. Connor Gerard in the chat with one of the best SpongeBob quotes of all time. It's not a boulder. It's a rock. The pioneers used to ride these babies for miles. But we're about to have a Kyle and Kyle battle here. McCoy and Bowling duking it out. McCoy going to make that pass look fairly easily, to be honest. Chad White now knocking on the back door of these two. Josh Gratton in the picture as well. But folks, Scott Rickard in the 05, he continues to lead the way by about half a second over the 9 of Zach Kreitz. We're going to go ahead and take a break, but you won't miss a minute of the action. As usual, we are going to go HMS TV side by side. Don't go anywhere. Don't change those dials as if you were watching on a TV with a dial. Who am I kidding? But we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Tom Ogle was just served a black flag. Ladies and gentlemen, lap 60 to 200 is underway. Back with you here in the Monster Mile 200 as we ride on board with the 44 of Kyle Bowling. It was an absolute scrap there between Gavin Salyer and Kyle McCoy, but they finally settled that out. McCoy takes the 7th spot, fitting being that he is number 7. Now Kyle Bowling trying to get by Gavin Salyer just the same. Ross Tatum, Chad White, Ben Shepherd have all kind of joined the action here behind this group. Scott Rickard does continue to lead the way by just under a second. This is your battle for 5th here. Griffin Salyer, Will Bustler going at it, getting by lap traffic of Blake Hutchinson there. Blake has not pit. He's just burned his stuff up so bad that he is getting lapped. Griffin Salyer gets the spot, moves up into 5th, having a good run so far. Of course, as I mentioned, Scott Rickard, he is your points leader right now. And he has led the way for by far the most laps. You take a look at the lap leaders, he's led 44. Zach Kreitz has led 18, TJ Crampton with 2. Crampton actually looking to potentially try to take the 2nd spot back over. He's right on the back bumper here as we ride on board with Zach Kreitz, who is holding on to that 2nd spot, but the 03 TJ Crampton is looking like he's going to do his best to get that spot here any moment. There it is. Zach Kreitz got a little loose out of the corner, had to lift. That lets the 03 sneak right on by into that 2nd spot. And honestly, Scott Rickard is not that far out ahead of these guys. We do have pit stops happening, as you can see in the bottom left of your screen. Joshua Alta's Doug Pierce hit pit lane. Altus was running, I believe, in the 4th spot when he hit pit road. And a lot more pit announcements happening. I think I heard Chad White, Logan Festchishin both announce pitting. Yes, Chad White, the 36, does hit pit lane. You can see the 36 there, Chad White, the 69, Ben Shepherd, putt their way down this super slow pit road. Several complaints about pit speed earlier. Holy smokes, look at the 03 TJ Crampton turn on the jets. He's got to the back bumper of Scott Rickard like it was no big deal. Will Bustler, Jason Gratton hit pit lane. Larry Griffin III, Logan Festchishin hit pit lane. And TJ Crampton makes the pass for the lead. You see the 94 there, Joshua Altus. He is getting his lap back, so do not mind him. I believe pitting here might put you 2 down, so he might have another lap he has to make up. So if these drivers pit early here, they're going to be praying that no caution flag flies, because they might get trapped a lap down. Take a look at the manufacturer standings. It's all Chevy as usual here in the Stars and Stripes Racing League. The entire top 10. Nothing but Chevys, and there's 19 of them out here. TJ Crampton, of course, the top Chevy because he's leading the way. Your best Ford is actually Blake Hutchinson in 13th right now. It's because he has not hit pit lane yet. And your best Toyota is going to be the one machine of Will Bustler. He's one of 2 Toyotas, and one of them didn't even run a lap, which would be Marshall Harrison, the 27. So now the pit cycle is definitely starting to get underway. It'll be interesting to see how long these guys can stay out if they so choose. Logan Fastician getting a little feisty with somebody. I'm guessing somebody may have come up the track in front of him. I'm not going to rewind and look back at it or anything, but telling somebody to keep an eye on their mirror when they're coming out of pit lane. The end of Josh Gratton hits pit lane. Somebody else is going to be joining him. I hear him on the radio. Connor Gerard is in the chat as always, says, clean racing so far. Granddaddy Longlegs trying to help Blake with his strategy, saying Blake needs to pit. And Connor is always doing a great job of paying attention to what's going on in the race. He says the 3 is back out of the race again. Bubba Myers Custom Designs is in the chat cheering on the 35 of Blake Hutchinson. Bubba, I hate to break it to you, but he's looking pretty slow tonight. Paint looks great. The driver's just he's having some sort of issue. Of course, any of you guys watching or listening, if you need a paint, you hit that man up right there in the chat. Bubba Myers Custom Designs. He'll get you hooked up. Some of you may have seen my paint last night in the Wheels America Racing Cup Series. That was overall a night to forget for me, but oh, Blake Hutchinson may have blown a tire, folks. He has a meatball. He did not hit the wall hard or nothing, but being that he has a meatball, I'm assuming that's what is the case. Your main race leaders, Zach Kreitz, Scott Rickard, have hit pit lane. That gives the lead of the 44, Kyle Bowling. Ross Tatum, Brian Pashimi, both behind him. Logan Fastician looking to get one of his laps back here. Gavin Salyer hits pit lane now. Bubba Myers says, gotta light that fire on that car. I gotta be honest, I don't know if it'll help. Christian Taylor in the chat says something about ain't that right, Jesse. I don't know what's right, but there's a whole lot of wrong. I know that. Ross Tatum, the Lil Debbie man himself, is your new leader at 21. He's got a couple wins under his belt. One of them already this season. Not that I can remember what track that was. But he's currently sitting 6th in your points, and that's pretty good because he has missed one race. Out of the drivers that have had 7 starts leading into the night, he is the highest in the point standings. Connor says that I won paint scheme of the night yesterday. That's a good choice, my friend. Great job. Christian says he thought the HMS TV team was supposed to be fast. Well, as Ross Tatum hits pit lane, I can't speak for this HMS TV team here in Stars and Stripes, but they're going to be something not to be messed with in the HMS TV Cup Series. That's all I'll say. Brian Pashimi leads the way. He hits pit lane now. He's going to give the lead up to Trey Jackson in the 5, unless he comes down pit lane. And Bubba, yes, that is the case. The Bass scheme won. I told you it was going to, and I mean, I didn't get an interview, or I would have just said fish car. Connor says Chad might be carrying here for Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Don't let Blake hear that. He might try to fire him. But, I mean, Chad is doing a great job here for HMS TV in the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Like I mentioned before, he's sitting 4th in points, which is no joke because there's a lot of talent in this league. So he's been showing up, being consistent, getting good finishes. He's all by himself right here, but the only person ahead of him that's on the same strategy is Josh Altus, who is, I got to be honest, is way ahead of Chad White. So about a 4-second gap for the lead once Trey Jackson decides to head down pit lane and give up the lead. As this pit cycle is almost complete, though, folks. One car left to hit pit lane, Trey Jackson. You heard from Larry McReynolds earlier. Now, I think Todd Gilliland has something to say. So go ahead and take it away, Todd.
Todd Gilliland here. You're tuned into the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Make sure to like, subscribe, and join the Discord channel so you never miss a moment of the action. Did America's crew chief already tell you that?
Hutchinson Motorsports TV is the world's #1 streaming service. From over-the-top calls to electrifying action, we bring it all to the table.
The whole field's chunking it. It's a drag race to the checkered flag in the air. Justin Thompson wins the Harpoon Design 500.
But the action doesn't just stop when the stream ends. Whether you're looking for a broadcaster or looking to secure your spot in our next special event, the best way to get a hold of us, and the only way to enter our exclusive events, is to join the HMS TV Discord server.
Don't get left on the trailer. What are you waiting for? Join the Hutchinson Motorsports TV Discord community today by scanning the QR code shown on your screen. We'll see you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at Dover in the Monster Mile 200. Lap 94 of 200 is underway. And we're just about at the halfway point of this race here tonight. Thanks to everybody that has tuned in to this point so far. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Tell your friends, tell everybody. As TJ Crampton takes the race lead over from Joshua Altus. Altus had a little bit of a short pit, and he led for a good while. But TJ Crampton and Scott Rickard on those fresher tires have finally reeled him back in. And they're going to continue to have the battle between themselves. But as we hit the halfway point, I think what we're going to do is we're going to head trackside and listen into the sights and sounds of this track here at Dover. And we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of crank it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still clean and green here at Dover. No caution since lap 5, and we are at lap 102. So we have just been cruising through these laps. This race somehow feels like it's flying by and also an endurance race at the same time. I don't really know how to explain it. As we show the top 5 here, of course, leading the way is the 03 TJ Crampton. We talked to him on the podium last week, I believe, and he had mentioned that last week was finally the final race of his probationary period, so he could finally qualify. And he certainly proved that that was what he needed, because he started on your front row and he finds himself leading right as we get past the halfway point of this race. Of course, Scott Rickard there in second, a familiar face. He's the 3-time champion for a reason. Always finds speed pretty much in every situation. Joshua Altus has been kind of a bit of a surprise tonight. He's definitely had the speed. I can't say the same for the entire season for him, but he's having a great night here at Dover. Kyle McCoy in the 7. He has had a heck of a time battling through the field. I mean, he started decent. He started up in 8th, and then he was falling back to about 13th or 14th and had to fight his way back forward. And then, of course, Zach Kreitz. He led a good handful of laps. He still finds himself hanging on to a top 5 spot, currently sitting in 5th. Of course, while we were talking about your top 5, Logan Fastician has pulled it over and towed that thing back to the pits. He said, "I am done." Kyle McCoy, Josh Altus, Zach Kreitz all in the battle for 3rd. Altus not really too big of a part of this battle. Of course, keep in mind, as we bring up the pit stop stats here, you can see the laps tab is how many laps these drivers have on their tires. Joshua Altus has 41 laps on his tires compared to pretty much your top four having just about 10 laps less on their sets of tires than Altus. So, of course, they've got the speed advantage. Chad White and Will Bussler in a bit of a similar situation where they kind of short pit the field. So, while they had speed early off of pit lane, now they're starting to slow down compared to the other guys. Kyle Bowling back here battling for 10th with Gavin Sawyer. He's trying to take that spot from the 18. We will have to wait and see if he's able to do it. He's going to look potentially to the inside, think better of it. Looks like a good battle is going to be developing between these two. Bowling looks to the inside of the 18. He's going to get the pass done actually fairly easily. Looks like Gavin Sawyer just gave the spot to him. We take a look at the HMS TV battle board. Your best battle on track's actually here between Kyle McCoy and Zach Kreitz. Also good battles between Chad White and Will Bussler and Kyle Bowling and Gavin Sawyer. But right now, this is the one to pay attention to between McCoy and Kreitz. Back of McCoy's car here says echoes of the eye. Not sure what that means, but I'm here for it. Connor Gerard says every like helps Blake's car go faster. Well, and y'all need to absolutely slam that like button because poor Blake's all the way back here in 19th, folks. Not a P30 like he predicted, but of course he didn't have a chance of getting a P30 because we only had 26 drivers signed in here tonight. Griffin Sawyer's trying to be on the move here. He's trying to find his way into 6th. He's to the outside of Will Bussler. They go door to door into turn 3. Bussler sends it in down low. Is he going to cover up out of the corner? Is he going to give him some space? Looks like he is going to cover up. Sawyer not able to get another run. It's actually Will Bussler that's been kind of on the move. You see the 25 and Nate Lynch there on your screen getting by the 2 of Griffin Sawyer. He is a lap down, so that is not for position. But Chad White, just behind Griffin Sawyer here, is for position. You ride on board with Griffin Sawyer out of Ohio. He's looking back at Chad White and Ben Shepherd, reeling him in lap by lap here. Chad seems to have decent long run speed. As I remind you, he did come in pit lane about 10 laps before this 2 car did, a Griffin Sawyer, and Chad's actually reeling in Griffin fairly easily. So he's doing a good job of taking care of his tires. They might be a bit older, but like I said, he's doing a good job taking care of them, and that's what really matters, because you could have the oldest tires in the field, but if you're nice to them, they'll be nice back to you, you know? Granddaddy Long Legs, I'm assuming talking about the GOAT Blake Hutchinson, says top 20 is a win in my book. That's about where the bar is set, I'd say, top 20. It's like when you play any of the newer NASCAR career modes and it tells you your goal is to finish like 35th out of 40, and it's like, oh, okay. Griffin Sawyer sounded like he was letting off the gas a little bit there, catching up to this slower traffic. He's going to be starting to check everybody up here. Chad White, Ben Shepherd getting a good chance here to catch the 2 of Griffin Sire, because he's got to figure out a way by the 25 and 8 Lynch here in front of him. Keep in mind that will not be for position between Griffin Sire and Nate Lynch. Seems like I might be having a spike in some internet issues. Hopefully it all smooths back out. But folks, lap 121 to 200 on the books. They've been clean and green since lap 5. Probably going to be clean till the end, but folks, you never know. There could be a caution at any moment. But regardless, we are going to step aside for another break here as Blake Hutcherson timely goes into the pits. As usual, you're not going to miss a second of the action because we'll be HMS TV side by side, so don't go anywhere.
I'm Larry McReynolds. Remember, in any type of racing, it's all about execution. So right now, subscribe to Hutchison Motorsports TV today. You know America's crew chief. I would never steer you wrong.
Hutchison Motorsports TV is back. The lights are bright, and the stands are packed.
Real quick, people stop the real quick touch. Double check the steering wheel. Control.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Nice and smooth. Get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
Too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Ladies and gentlemen, back with you here in the Monster Mile 200, and we've got pit stops underway once again for what I'm assuming are going to be the last pit stops of the night for most of these drivers. If we take a look at our pit stop stats, a lot of these guys have made it 59, 60, 61 laps. The highest I see there, Chad White, 68 laps. If we back it all the way out to the top 20, Chad is still the longest on those tires, but if he can make it 69 laps now, nice. If he can make it that far, that means that this would be the last pit stop of the night for these guys if they are to come down. We take a look at some of the drivers that have had to make repairs. Ryan Lynch, of course, famously, we thought his night was over. It only took them 12 minutes to whip that 3-car back into shape. Tom Ogle, 9 minutes of repairs made. Blake Hutchinson, 2 minutes. Logan Fascishin, 1:20. Those numbers are, of course, all approximate. I don't claim to know the exact formula that goes into that. But what I do know most of the time is the formula to winning. And TJ Crampton in that 0-3 is doing a great job at using that formula to his advantage, because he's checked out 2 seconds ahead of Scott Rickard. And if you're able to check out 2 seconds ahead of the GOAT Scott Rickard, you're a pretty darn good iRacer. As I mentioned before, TJ Crampton, this is his first race that he was able to qualify for and not start in the back. So that was definitely a big help for that driver. Scott Rickard, though, continues to just be cool, calm, and collected and just run in that second spot. The GOAT Blake Hutchinson, there are going to be some lap traffic on some fresher tires, going to make his way by the 05. Zach Kreitz continues to be your third place driver. Of course, was sitting on the pole for tonight, but doesn't seem to have the long run speed of the 03 or the 05. He's had a good run here tonight. Nonetheless, he's got to be happy with sitting in potential for a podium here right now. Kyle McCoy, you can see him right behind him there in the 4th spot, up 4 from where he started. McCoy doing a good job as usual. And then you have Brian Pashimi here in 5th, up a whole 20 spots from where he started. We thought that he was potentially going to win either last week or the week before, and then a late race caution kind of ruined all of that. Connor Gerard says, possibility of this being the most amount of green flag laps in a single HMS TV race. You know what? That's a great question. Oh, black flag for Zach Kreitz. May have been too fast entering for the 9. Crucial mistake. Kreitz going to have a penalty. That changes the entire perspective of this race. These drivers have to check up quick and get down to 35. Oh, Scott Rickard locks it up, gets sideways. Did he get it slowed down enough? It looks like he did. No penalty for TJ or Scott. Both of them were entering as hard as they could. And they somehow get away with it. Scott Rickard had that car at almost a 45-degree angle, ripping it into pit lane. But they get him woed up just enough. Kyle McCoy takes over the race lead. And now the question begins, when will the 7 come down and hit pit lane? We've got about 8 cars that have not made their final pit stop here tonight. Kyle McCoy, Brian Pashimi, Griffin Salyer, Kyle Bowling, Chad White, Gavin Salyer, Trey Jackson, Nate Lynch still yet to pit. Of course, Nate Lynch and Trey Jackson are going to be laps down at this point. You can see the 5 of Trey Jackson. He's getting that lap back actually as we speak. As far as the drivers that have done their final pit stops and are back up to speed, to no surprise, the 03 of TJ Crampton is going to be the leader. Scott Rickard gets by Ross Tatum to fall into what will basically turn out to be second, and Kyle Bowling into pit lane locks them up. No penalty. Somehow got it woed up. These guys are entering pit lane like their life depends on it. Which in a way, I guess it does. If you're slow into pit lane, it can cost a lot of seconds on the track. So these guys are trying to maximize their pit entrances. Look at Kyle McCoy. He gets it sideways woed up. A little bit of smoke comes out of the 78. Both of those guys get in clean, no penalties. So far, the only person that's had to serve a too fast entering penalty during this pit cycle is going to be the 9 of Zach Kreitz. He finds himself back in 16th, I believe, 2 laps down. So that shows you how much a single speeding penalty can hurt you here in green flag stops. McCoy gets parked in his box. Trey Jackson going to take the lead over for now, but he has yet to pit. He's the last driver other than Nate Lynch that needs to make another stop here tonight. Bubba Myers in the chat saying almost some chaos on pit lane. You're not lying. Those guys were absolutely ripping it into pit lane. They ought to be very thankful that they got him slowed down enough. See the 46 there, Jason Gratton on your screen. I haven't talked about him a single time here tonight. The 46 has definitely gone under the radar. You know, Bubba, you might need to hit this guy up. You can see he's got a completely empty car. I mean, it's a blank canvas, man. You should try to hit him up, see what he says. There's a good example of the tire difference. 25 and Nate Lynch, he stayed out for quite a while. 21 Ross Tatum, he's on freshies and he just blew right by him. But Kyle McCoy, we'll show you here, fastest 5 best laps of the race. Kyle McCoy just hit a 23.4, a 10th faster than anybody else has hit here tonight, and he did that last lap. So Kyle McCoy is on the move. It may be too little too late, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you take a look at the last 5 lap average, Zach Kreitz tops that board, but unfortunately for him, he's 2 laps down. Well, I apologize. He's back to 1 lap down. We got a super chat. Christian Taylor, the 96. As usual, he's talking shit. He says, can you believe Jesse showed up to work for once? Yeah. I can't. I've showed up to work every Tuesday. Where you been? You acting like you need sleep or something? That's ridiculous. It doesn't. Doing this broadcast, being the latest league here on HMS TV, doesn't cause me to be late to work on Wednesdays. No. I appreciate you, Bubba. Thank you. Don't mind Christian. He's just, I don't know about that guy sometimes. But regardless, TJ Crampton has taken the race lead back over here, making a statement in his first race that he's not in a probationary period. I mean, he's got by Trey Jackson in the 5, and Jackson hasn't even hit pit lane for his final stop yet, if that tells you anything. Connor's asking who I think is going to win. I mean, if I didn't say the 03 at TJ Crampton, they might have to put me in a mental hospital. This guy's 3 seconds ahead of Scott Rickard. And you know what we put beside Scott Rickard's name is the GOAT. So if you're 3 seconds ahead of the GOAT, what does that make you? That's a question for y'all in the chat. If you're 3 seconds faster than the GOAT, then what does that make you? Nate Lynch 25 to pit lane. Nice battle here between Will Bustler and Kyle McCoy. This is for your 4th spot. McCoy, like I said, he's flying right now. He's setting some fast laps Your top three were all in the 24s last time around. Kyle McCoy is still in the 23s when it comes to lap time, so he's absolutely scooting in that 7 car. He might be one to watch. The only problem is he's 12.5 seconds back. That's a lot of ground to make up. Everybody up to the 12th spot. Or I'm sorry, everybody outside of the top 10 now a lap down. Chad White just got passed by TJ Crampton. Blake Hutchison, the GOAT, back in pit lane. Head Fed by Radio says a unicorn. I think that might be the nickname. I think if Scott Rickard is the GOAT, TJ Crampton is the unicorn, because he is putting a whipping on this field. It's been a master class for the 03. We take a look at lap leaders. We thought Scott Rickard had led a lot. He had led 48. TJ Crampton has surpassed that number. He's up to 65 laps led. If he leads all the way till the checkered flag, he's going to lead more than half of the race. So he has done a fantastic job here tonight. Connor Gerard says, maybe a championship contender. You are not lying. TJ Crampton, as we mentioned, only 4 starts on the season before tonight. So he's got some ground to make up. He's currently sitting back in 27th, but if he can keep stringing together good races, he's definitely got a good chance. The only other driver, or the only better driver in the points with 4 starts is Joshua Robinson, and I think he got his starts towards the top end of the season, because I don't remember the last time I saw Josh Robinson on the track. We miss you, Josh. Come back to us. Crampton the unicorn. It sounds pretty good. Chad White trying to fight back a little bit here, get back his lap, it looks like. We'll see if he's able to do so. Blake Hutchinson, Trey Jackson coming up behind. Lap 164 of 200. Going to have about 35 to go here at Dover, and we're going to step aside for our last break of the evening. As always, we're going to go HMS TV side by side. Do not go anywhere. You're not going to miss a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be right back.
Todd Gilliland here. You're tuned into the world's #1 streaming service, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. Make sure to like, subscribe, and join the Discord channel so you never miss a moment of the action. Did America's crew chief already tell you that?
Hutchinson Motorsports TV is the world's #1 streaming service. From over-the-top calls to electrifying action, we bring it all to the table.
The whole field's chunking it! It's a drag race to the checkered flag in the air. Justin Thompson wins the Harpoon Design 500.
But the action doesn't just stop when the stream ends. Whether you're looking for a broadcaster or looking to secure your spot in our next special event, the best way to get a hold of us, and the only way to enter our exclusive events, is to join the HMS TV Discord server.
Don't get left on the trailer. What are you waiting for? Join the Hutchinson Motorsports TV Discord community today by scanning the QR code shown on your screen. We'll see you there.
Drivers, start your engines.
For the final 24 laps of the Monster Mile 200. The laps are ticking down. TJ Crampton is ever closer to getting his first Stars and Stripes win here tonight. He's gotten top 5 twice. Probably podium twice, I think, for the 03. So getting the win here will be great for the 03. Granddaddy Longlegs, no IRL tornadoes tonight, and okay, that's good because I know there was one potentially heading towards Oklahoma City earlier today. Hopefully that didn't cause any severe damage for anybody. And there was an absolute beast of a tornado up there in northern Illinois into Indiana. That thing was a massive tornado. So prayers for anybody that ended up in the path of that thing. Hopefully it was in the middle of nowhere. But I'm a big fan of the YouTube channel Ryan Hall, y'all. If any of y'all are aware of him. I was tuned into that pretty much the entire time up before this race started, watching the chaos. No severe weather yet this year in my neck of the woods in North Carolina. I am a big weather nerd, so hopefully we can get something cool happening soon. I'd like it to be cool enough that it's worth like watching and paying attention to, but not cool to the point where it gets kind of scary, you know. Like we'll save that for hurricane season or something. But irregardless, 20 to go. TJ Crampton does lead the way. On the left side of your screen on the tower there, you're looking at the last lap time for each driver. Now you're looking at the gain and loss for positions. Brian Pashimi up 21 spots tonight. He's going to be your hard charger for sure. No question about it if he manages to stick to this 4th spot. But let's run through your lineup a little bit, touch on everybody right before we get towards the end of this race. Of course, TJ Crampton has led the way for the majority of the race here, and he's got a good lead. Scott Rickard here in the 05, about half a straightaway behind. He's trying his best to reel the 03 in. I don't think it's going to happen because their lap's pretty similar right now, and Crampton was actually a bit faster last lap, so it's not looking good for the 05's chances. He might be settling for a podium. You go way back 5 more seconds to Kyle McCoy in 3rd. I mean, if you get on the nose cam, that's Scott Rickard way up there, up the road. So McCoy not going to be able to reel in Rickard or Crampton, I don't believe. But 3rd is still a good finish for McCoy, up 5 spots from where he started. But he's got to hold up the man on your right of your screen here. Brian Pashimi running in 4th. He was about a 10th quicker than McCoy last time around. So with 16 laps to go, this could turn into a decent battle between these two. We'll have to keep our eye on it. Little Debbie himself, Ross Tatum, currently in 5th. That's lapped traffic getting by him. That's the 24, Brian Lynch. Not for position there. Tatum with a great night, up 16 spots from where he started. Go back about a second to the 44, Kyle Bowling, Malcolm, Nebraska, running 6th, started 9th. So positive night for the 44. He's got some subpar streaming service on his car, though. I'm not sure what that's about. Griffin Salyer, the number 2. One of the 2 Salyer brothers running 7th. Started a little bit better. Started up in 4th, so he slipped back a little bit from where he started, but still a good night for the 2. And you see Will Bustler here in the 1 out of Virginia. Our lone Toyota that took the green flag today, so he's out here representing for Toyota. I would be out there in a Toyota if I was racing, bud. Back to 9th, up 5 spots on the night. It's going to be the 69 of Ben Shepard out of Boise, Idaho. He's having a good night, but he's got to hold off the 36 of Chad White, who's holding down that final spot in your top 10. Up 7 spots on the night. Out of Loudon, Tennessee. HMS TV team driver. honest to God, probably team captain at this point, especially in Stars and Stripes. Logan was bragging early on in the season about how he was finishing best out of the team, this and that. I don't know where that all went because Chad's 4th in points. Chad's leading the way for HMS TV over here in Stars and Stripes. Got to go back almost 3 seconds to the 46 of Jason Gratton. Pittsfield, Illinois has had a quiet night here on track, but still up 13 spots from where he started. So he started way back there in 24th, has made his way forward all night. Currently sitting right outside the top 10. Folks, you got to go back a whole 10 seconds from Jason Gratton to find Gavin Salyer here out of Richwood, Ohio. He's had a good night in that 18 car, but he's kept it clean, but he just hasn't had the speed that he had on the short run. Qualified all the way up in 5th, finds himself running 12th. Go back another 9 seconds and you find Trey Jackson in the 5 out of Mayo, Florida. Hasn't been a great night for the 5, but he's about where he started. He's only down 1 spot. Started in 12th, finds himself in 13th, so not awful. Zach Kreitz runs 14th. Good. Not a great night for him. Of course, he started on the pole, but found himself speeding on the pit lane entrance going into the last stops of the race. Finds himself back in 14th. And rounding out your top 15 is going to be the 25 of Nate Lynch out of Manchester. Notable drivers out of the race. You've got a long laundry list. 20th on back is going to be out of this race right now. Joshua Altus, Josh Gratton, Doug Pierce, Tom Ogle, Ryan Lynch, JT Tinker, Marshall Harris out of this race. Blake Hutchinson is out there running laps. Unfortunately for him, he finds himself several laps down, 11 down. His teammate Logan Festischen 8 laps down. So not a good night for those two HMS TV team drivers. But we've got a battle brewing, as I mentioned. Brian Pishimi has gotten by Kyle McCoy for 3rd. Let's go back and take a look. From the Bubba Myers custom design blimp, McCoy was on the outside. Brian Pishimi just put it down low and just drove right past him. Nothing too special there for the 78. I did mention earlier that it could turn into a battle, but that wasn't much of a battle. It was more of like just a shove, it's like whenever you think there's going to be a big fight at school back in the day and then no one ever swung a punch and it was just a bunch of yelling. That's about kind of just what happened there. With 5 to go, though, it doesn't look like McCoy's wanting to give up. He might not have a choice, though. We take a look at the interval. 0.2 of a second separate these two, but we'll continue to watch that number grow as Brian Pishimi's car is just a little bit hooked up compared to that 7 right now. And I think with 4 laps to go, we might be in for a Bronze Horse Garage podium sweep. Unfortunate for Josh Altus, managed to smoke the barrels into pit lane. The way people were sending it into pit lane, I'm not surprised that somebody hit the barrels. But with 3 laps to go, we're going to keep our focus right here with TJ Crampton because he has no competition. He's been running away from Scott Rickard these last couple laps. Chad White doing his best to stay on the lead lap. If the 03 of Crampton gets by him, that means he'll have lapped up to 9th place, which is pretty crazy. They do go side by side. Chad is going to let him by, so that makes it official. White flag is out here at Dover. The final lap of the Monster Mile 200. And as long as the TJ Crampton does not make some sort of crazy mistake, he's going to take home the win here tonight. The final 2 quarters underway for the 03. Clean through 3 and clean through 4. Comes out on the front stretch. crosses the stripe, and for the first time in his Stars and Stripes career, TJ Crampton is a winner here in the Monster Mile 200 at Dover. Scott Rickard brings home your second spot. Brian Pashimi with third. Kyle McCoy going to finish fourth. And Kyle Bowling crosses the stripe in fifth place. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Ross Tatum, Griffin Salyer, Will Bustler, Chad White, and Ben Shepard. We're going to step aside just for a moment, let TJ Crampton burn it down, let you watch on while we give these drivers some time to get into the waiting room and get ready to talk to our top 3 finishers here tonight. Don't go anywhere. As TJ Crampton makes his way to victory lane, we're going to go ahead and start knocking out some interviews here tonight as we pull up the results page. For anybody that just now is tuning in, they can see how this race finished. TJ Crampton, of course, with the win, 105 laps led. Scott Rickard brings home second place. Brian Pashimi third with the hard charger. Kyle McCoy, of course, with the fast lap. Zach Kreitz with the pole position, but had the mistake on coming into pit lane that cost him any chance at this race. 11 green flag lead changes with 9 different leaders here tonight. But let's go ahead and talk to your third place finisher, Brian Pashimi. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, Brian, it's Jesse in the booth. Can you hear me?
I gotcha.
Hey, man, a good race for you once again here tonight. Find yourself on the podium with the Hard Charger Award as well, up 22 spots. Go ahead and just talk us through this race here for you tonight. Third's got to feel pretty good, even if it is 8 seconds back.
Oh, yeah, no, third is amazing. There was a time in the second run where I thought we had the wrong strategy and we had gotten ourselves way too far back, and I lost way too much time to Scott and TJ. The car just plowed every corner, and it took a while for it to become, to rotate a little better. Once that happened, it'll make up quite a bit of time, but it was just, the waiting on that part was brutal.
I can imagine. So, overall, how did the car drive for you tonight? It looked like it was a little loose, sometimes a little tight for some other guys. How did it seem to you tonight?
The start of the run was a little sideways, like you could kind of send it off in the corner and gas it out and kind of stick the back end anywhere you wanted, and then it just started to plow like for 20-30 laps, and especially in dirty air, you're just waiting for so long for it to rotate, waiting so long to get back to the gas, and then with like 20 laps left in the run, you're able to kind of just hang it out there and just send it, which was my favorite part, because that's where I started to have a lot more ability to maneuver the car around others.
Well, you did a great job. Hard charger award for you, having to start towards the back and make your way forward. Was that just a poor qualifying effort? Did you set a lap? I can't really remember.
I didn't set one. I was just kind of unsure as to the cold tires. I wanted to kind of give it one good one good start or two, just to kind of get some feel for it before I really had to push it any more than I needed to.
Well, we went 195 laps clean and green, so it's a good thing you figured it out, I'd say.
Yeah, it going green definitely made that first run a little sketchy because I was like, oh no, we're going green. I can't wait anymore. I got to start pushing. And so it was like, okay, how do I make up time, but also not completely fall off and lose a lap due to blowing a right front tire, which I was hearing some guys were having some issues with that.
Oh yeah, there was definitely some flat tires out there. You managed to avoid that though. Bring home the third place. If you got any shout out for any of the fans at home, man, now's the time to let them rip.
Yeah, shout out to you for the broadcast. I watched them after the race or the next day just while working. It just because it's something good to watch while working. Shout out to everyone for watching. Hopefully we'll put on a good show. And shout out to the Bronze Horse guys for making one hell of a strategy where we all got top 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, great job. Was it the entire? So here's the thing, right? I don't know exactly who's on what team. I know you, Scott, and TJ are Kyle McCoy and Kyle Bowling on the team as well.
Yes.
Wow.
Kyle Bowling, and Kyle McCoy are on the team as well.
Okay, so what I thought was a podium sweep is a top 5 sweep for Bronze Sports Garage. So fantastic job for you guys.
Yeah, it was an interesting moment. We all realized, how did this happen?
Well, maybe if anyone's listening out there, cough cough, any of the Lynch brothers, maybe we could get an updated list on who's on what team, because I don't think I've ever seen one around here. But regardless, great job on the top 3, and I'm going to send you back up with everybody else, and congratulations once again, Brian Pashimi.
All right, thanks, Jesse.
All right, that was Brian finishing 3rd there. Great run for him. Let's talk about, let's go ahead and talk to the GOAT, Scott Rickard, and see what kind of nickname we're going to come up with for your winner, TJ Crampton. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, Scott, it's Jesse up in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, good to talk to you once again here in the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Finishing 2nd here tonight, though, and the main conversation piece, as TJ Crampton was running away from you, we call you to the GOAT, so we're trying to figure out what TJ Crampton's nickname is going to be, and I think we've come up with the Unicorn. What are your thoughts on that, and how'd your race go as a whole?
I don't care about nicknames myself, so honestly, I'm not good at this. This is not my best track, so I'll take. If you tell me for the race I got 2nd on speed, I'd be happy. Like I am now, I'm glad to just get out of here with a 2nd of all things, because I usually run barely like 5th here usually. So, a little more left than I thought I would this race. Running at the front longer than I thought I would. So, all things considered, I'll take it.
Yeah, you definitely had a good race. This is one of those tracks, I kind of agree with you. It's one of those tracks where you either love it or hate it. I'm definitely on the kind of hate it side myself. But then again, I think I might just be washed in general, because I raced at Nashville last night, and I've actually gotten wins there before, and I think I was running like 20th on speed in my league. So, I mean, I don't know. What do I know, you know?
For me, it's this, like in Nashville, where it's like kind of single groove tracks. You usually got tight setups. It's hard to pass if you can get next to somebody. They're just not my forte for speed type of tracks.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, but top 5 for the entire team, so I hear. So definitely a good night for Bronze Horse Garage. So if you got any shout outs for any of those guys or any of the fans watching at home, now's the time to let them rip.
I got to thank Team Lots for Race Setups. They've sponsored me for 2 years now overall, so that's nice. Everybody on the team, because it's just all of us friends, so it's fun being on the race with them, have fun during the race. And I thank league admins for putting on the league and everything for all these years. So have fun racing this.
All right, well, congratulations on the 2nd place. Sure, it's going to extend your points lead, no doubt. So fantastic job. Congratulations on the 2nd once again, Scott Rickard.
Thank you.
That's going to leave one more person to talk to here and to introduce him with the only phrase I think he can say is Buddha Baker. Once again, Buddha.
Drivers, start your engines.
To get hyped up to talk to your winner here tonight, TJ Crampton in the 03. Let's see what he has to say. TJ, it's Jesse up in the booth. Can you hear me?
I gotcha.
Well, if my memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure I talked to you last week on the podium, and you told me that you get to come into tonight and you get to finally qualify. And, well, you start on the front row, you lead 105 laps, and you take home your first win here in the Stars and Stripes Racing League. So go ahead and just walk me through this race for you here tonight and anything that might have stood out to you.
Well, it was pretty uneventful up front besides a couple moments with lap cars, but honestly, when I saw that I could qualify for this race, I was really happy because Dover, hands down, one of my if not my best track on iRacing. This track, I don't know why. I'm all the way on the West Coast. I live on the West Coast. This track's the furthest from me, but for some reason, every time I come here, I am flying. So, had a blast today. There's just something about this track fits my driving style really well, and was able to just kind of once I got by Scott and had the better tires, just kind of let it roll away and put it on cruise control.
Well, you did a fantastic job. Just an interesting thing that was happening in the chat. I was asking him because, I just talked to Scott, obviously, before you, and he said how Dover is one of his weaker tracks, how he doesn't really like this place too much. But, I was asking people, because we call Scott Rickard the GOAT, and then if you were beating the GOAT by 3 seconds, we were trying to figure out what we should call you, and I think we might have settled on the Unicorn.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I had a mythical run today, so maybe we can go with that.
I hear you. So you might have a nickname, you might not, but either way, you came out and first time you could qualify, you end up front row, and you take home the win. So that's got to feel pretty good heading towards the playoffs. I don't know exactly how their system's working this year, because I know you started a little late. I don't know how it looks getting locked in or not, but still, regardless, got to be pretty happy with a win.
Oh, absolutely, and hopefully it's not a one-hit wonder. I'm sure I'll win some point down the line, but with this being one of my better tracks, I figured got to circle it on the map. So gonna be looking up to see what the next couple of races are and see which ones I'm good at, and obviously I can qualify now for the rest of the season, so that's obviously a big advantage than starting at the back and taking up half the race, just trying to get up to the front. So honestly, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and find out the rest of the season.
Yeah, just a couple more quick hitter questions before we get to the shout outs. Of course, they just released an update for the O'Reilly Series cars today in iRacing. Did you notice anything that jumped out to you different, or did it seem mostly similar?
Honestly, it felt the exact same as what it was at Auto Club last week. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
All right, 10-4. And the other thing is, I already looked up what the next track is, and it is Chicago Street Course. How do you feel about Chicago Street Course?
I'm not bad at road course racing. I love doing it in stock cars, but I have very little track time and seat time at that track, so I may have to do some practice before that because I don't even think I've raced that track on iRacing. I think I've done it once on NASCAR 25, and that's obviously completely different compared to iRacing, and so we'll have to wait and see. I think that one will just be try to keep it clean, don't push it, just stay on the racetrack and don't hit a wall.
Those are all good things to keep track of. I know your teammate there, Scott Rickard's definitely going to be the one to worry about when it comes to the right turns as well as left turns. But nonetheless, I'm not going to keep you all night. Congratulations on win number 1. And if you got any shouts for any of the folks watching at home, now's the time to let them rip.
Well, I want to say hi to my granddad watching, and I want to thank James Watson at Team Watson Racing, Scott, Bronze Horse Garage, Redline Oil, Extreme Mufflers, and Icon Apparel Company, you for broadcasting, and everyone that puts on the league.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win once again. TJ Crampton, talk to you again, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to wait and see, but I don't doubt it.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here from Dover. The Monster Mile 200 is complete, and we head to Chicago next week for the St. Patty's Grand Prix from the Chicago Street Course. That's sure to be a good time, and I am ready for it. Shout out to all of our sponsors on board with us, Juicy Spider Studios, for all the sick graphics that you see. Well, I can't say all of them, but definitely a majority of them are Juicy Spider Studios production. So if you need any sort of graphics, hit them up on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Juicy Spider Studios. As you see it spelled in the logo and in the ticker at the bottom. I do believe potentially that their commissions are paused right now, but regardless, hit them up, see what they can do for you. And the logo on the top right of your screen right now, Bubba Myers Custom Designs. He's a newcomer onto the paint world, and he does a fantastic job. I ran one of the paints he made last night, and there was a couple of them out here tonight. So definitely check out Bubba Myers Custom Designs. Hit him up on Discord. If you're having trouble finding him, just join our Discord. Link is going to be in the description, and we can definitely get you in contact with Bubba. So once again, thanks to all the channel sponsors. Thanks to everybody for watching. Tune in tomorrow night for the GLSR Mr. Radiator Truck Series. Just kidding. Just kidding. I got ahead of myself. They're taking the week off in the GLSR Mr. Radiator Truck Series because of week 13 here on iRacing. So you're going to have to tune in to, I believe, Average Joe's on Thursday is going to be our next race. So we'll catch you then. Until then, y'all have a great night.